Hey everyone, welcome to Pittsburgh Sports Now. I'm Mike Vukovcan, joined by a face you're very familiar with, Paul Zeise of 93.7 The Fan and the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. Paul, we got you on just for the big news today. Pitt decides not to play Duquesne for a second consecutive season. Last year, the reason given was the Robert Morris game conflicted with it. This year, no reason given. But we can get into that a little bit later. But when you first heard the news, your initial reaction?
Just real disappointed. I mean, I just think that this is a game that needs, it should be played, and fans want to see it. And what's really, to me, sad about it all is that, fans are becoming less and less relevant to in college athletics. I mean, these non-conference games between rivalry teams and between teams that are regional or whatever, they're going away in every sport. And, the push is to continue to try and, make more and more conference games. And then you can rationalize and justify, well, we play a lot of conference games and those games are all tough. So, we can make a schedule full of patsies. And to me, that's just not really what you're not serving your fans' best interest. And I don't think you're serving your own best interest either. So, I mean, Pitt can do whatever they want to do with their program, but I feel like in this particular case, they're absolutely just being very short-sighted for a lot of reasons. I mean, and Mike, the first thing that jumped in my mind right now in these times is the money part of it, the financial part of it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're Pitt, every athletic department in the country is trying to cut expenses big time. If you're Pitt, you have a chance to play Duquesne at the P, and you don't have to give them a $75,000 or $80,000 guarantee like you do with the Nickel States of the world, and you're going to have a sellout as opposed to 3,000 fans in the stands. I don't understand how you could look at that and say, listen, we're not, if I'm the athletic director, we need to play that game. But again, I'm not the athletic director.
Doesn't this fans don't want to hear this, especially from the Pitt fans, but just from, I suspect Jeff Capel is not going to a reason why this game isn't going to be played, but for just the reasons you gave, doesn't the appearance just seem that he doesn't want to take the chance of losing?
I mean, that's unfortunately, that's for him. Unfortunately, that's what it's going to be. I mean, he can say whatever he wants to say, but that's what it looks like. If Duquesne's willing to pay for no money at your building on your time, tell me why you can't get the game scheduled. I mean, I don't want to hear, stuff about, well, we had a hard time, dates didn't match up, this and that. We had too many road games, this and that. I mean, all of the excuses all of these coaches use all the time to, get out of playing games they don't want to play. I don't know that any of them fly here. You're getting a home game, for as far as I know, Duquesne's not asking for a return like a home and home. You're getting a home game, number one. Number two, you're not having to pay any money for it. And number three, they're willing to do it on whatever day works for you. So, again, it's sad. And it's, I wish I could sit here and just say it's unique to Pitt, but unfortunately it's not. That's what really stinks if you're a fan of college athletics nowadays. This is the kind of stuff that goes on.
I would assume by the statement from Dave Harper, it was a pretty right to the point statement as far as Duquesne's desire to play. Once again, I have no insight on this, but that gives you no reason to believe as far as that this game's going to be happening anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, I think, again, generally what happens with this kind of stuff is, if it goes away, and then there's some bad blood. I mean, we've seen it. I mean, how many times have we seen it? There's a little bad blood between the two schools. The next thing you know, they say, we're not playing in anything. I mean, to be honest, if I were Duquesne, if I were Dave Harper, I think that might be the stance I take. We're not playing Pitt in anything. And try and work something out with Robert Morris. Just because, to me, I think, when you're in a city together, you're 2 miles apart, you share the same, charity type stuff. You know what I mean? You're involved in the same community type stuff. You're in an academic community together, this and that, everything. on some levels, you should try and be a partnership. And I don't mean that, in a way where you share everything and this and that and everything, but there's got to be some sense of, we're in this town together. Both of our fan bases enjoy this. Let's do it. So, to me, I think Dave Harper, if I'm him, I might say, you know what, as much as it pains us, we're not playing Pitt in anything. And I said the same thing about Pitt when it came to Penn State.
Yep.
Pitt, when Penn State wouldn't play Pitt in football, take the same approach. Okay, well, you know what? All of those those sports that you have, those what do they call Olympic sports? All of those non-revenue generating sports. You know what? We're not going to be a regional game for you anymore. You go travel somewhere and pay to send your baseball and softball team and everybody else somewhere else. We're not going to do that for you anymore. And Pitt fans get mad at the whole idea of Penn State doing the same thing to Pitt. I mean, again, you can't have it both ways.
Yeah, I was just about to say our reaction, as you can imagine, we have a lot of Pitt fans following us. I would say 75% of the response or higher from Pitt fans is justifying this, I think an idiotic move by saying, how does this game benefit us? Which is something you'd expect.
Yeah, I mean, again, how does this game benefit? How does Nicholls State benefit you? How does Maryland Eastern Shore benefit you? How does Arkansas Pine Bluff benefit you? That, to me, is the ultimate cop-out of all cop-outs. Because, again, if you bring Duquesne in instead of, say, Arkansas Pine Bluff, right, you're bringing in a top 100 net ranking team as opposed to what was Arkansas Pine Bluff, probably in the 300s or close to it, right? So you're bringing in a team that helps your overall profile, and you're saving 75, 80 grand or whatever it is, and you're selling 12,400 or 12,600 tickets as opposed to 3,000. So to me, how does it benefit? I can give you a lot of reasons. And in this current economic climate, I can give you thousands and thousands and thousands and actually probably close to millions of reasons. So, yes. Again, here's my thing, and I want to make this clear. Any of these coaches, because, I mean, how many times we go around in circles with Jamie Dixon about scheduling and things of the such, and, Penn State and James Franklin doing the same thing and all this. Any of these coaches, okay, that don't want to play a game, I have no problem with that.
Say it,
Just say
we
don't want to play the game. Just say that. Don't give me all these nonsensical reasons that are all BS. Just say we don't want to play the game. I don't want to play the game personally. I don't give a damn what my fans want, and I don't give a damn what the fans of the other team want. I know what I want. I don't want to play this game. If you said that, I probably would respect you a hell of a lot more than, we can't work out a date. We've got finals that week. We had to do this. And rankings is maybe too high. Don't come up with all these dumb reasons. Just say we don't want to play the game. And if you say that, I probably would respect all of these guys a lot more. But none of them do. They all come up with all these ridiculous reasons.
And last thing is, I guess it's a sort of a compliment in a way to the job that Keith Dambrot has done at Duquesne. Because if this was Duquesne, if even in the state of Pitt basketball, where Jeff Capel hasn't gotten it to the point where he wants it, but he, I've no doubt that he's going to. If this was Duquesne 10 years ago, Capel would have won a signed a 5-year extension with this deal. Mm-hmm. He sees what. Duquesne might not be a top 25 team yet, but they're a hell of a lot better than they've been the past few years.
Well, again, that's more the reason why you would want to play the game, right?
I know, but
wouldn't you want to play them now that they're good and they can actually help you and help you get better and help you get ready for the ACC? I mean, I think that's the whole point. Here's the other thing that I don't agree with a lot of people in this town who think that Duquesne would beat Pitt or whatever, or that Duquesne's better than Pitt now. I don't believe that. I think Duquesne is good. But I think that, you know what, if they played next year, it would be a really good game. I still would pick Pitt to win the game. I mean, you know, and if Jeff Capel is recruiting the way it seems like he is recruiting, I mean, unfortunately for Duquesne, Pitt is always going to have access to better players. So to me, you know, Duquesne is really, and that doesn't mean Duquesne couldn't beat Pitt from time to time, but this idea that if they would play 10 times in a row right now, this, you know, that somehow it'd be like 5-5 or anything close to that. I mean, I would still say Pitt would be 8-2, 9-1. I mean, games would be a lot closer and a lot more competitive. I just think Pitt would be better. Pitt's better, and Pitt has better players. I mean, that's not a slight at Duquesne. That's just reality. That's why, to me, I don't understand why, you know, they don't want to play the game. It's a game they're supposed to win.
That's my point. That's why you want to play the game, is because having a game being a 20, 30-point blowout, that does nothing for anybody except from your ego if you're the winning team. You want to play a game where it's a competitive game, where you have talent somewhat matches up, and it's not going to be a blowout. If I'm a competitor, that's what I want. I don't want to play Nicholls State and, you know, all the rest of those horse shit teams.
Well, and I think the thing about it is you trying to get ready for the ACC. So don't you want to play better games? That's the whole point. You know, Arkansas, Pine Bluff, Maryland, Eastern Shore, all these other schools. I don't understand. That doesn't do anything but get you wins. And here's the other thing, Mike, that I would be sympathetic to, right? If this was year 5 or 6 for Jeff Capel and he hadn't gotten to the NCAA tournament and his seat was extremely hot and he needed to make sure that he got as many wins as possible, okay, but that's not where he's at. The guy's got more job security than, you know, probably 95% of the coaches out there. And, you know, if he loses the game, it ain't like it's going to cost him, his job or anything close to that. So, like, now is when you'd want to play these games. So, again, look, they all have reasons for doing it, and Pitt has their reasons, and that's fine. But to me, I'll go back to what I always say. I would much rather if all these guys just said, hey, you know what? We just don't want to play the game. Just say that to me. Don't give me all this nonsense.
And the other thing is, I think with the history, and we'll just close it with this, I think with the history of this game, even though he hasn't been a part of it, Pitt owes their fan base and people an explanation as to why the game isn't played, and not a one-word answer, no. And I'm not going to expand upon it past that. You want to say it, you know, give a reason for that. Jeff Capel is one of the most articulate guys that we've covered in a long time. He would be able to handle any questions reporters gave him, and he'd have his fan base believing in what he says, and he'd justify his answer if he'd come out and speak. But he's not going to say that, and, you know, they'll come up with, you know, whatever stuff they want to say, but not speaking on the issue, I think, is not good.
You know, I'm sure he will. I mean, you know, he does stuff. Well, he does weekly thing with the morning show, you know, the fan morning show. I mean, I'm sure when he does that next, he'll talk about it. And, you know, that's the one thing I'll give him. He's always been willing to talk about things. I think, you know, what happened here was, I don't know that, you know, he was ready for it to blow up like he did, you know. And when how did this all come out? He was doing an interview with Jerry DePaula, right? Is that what happened?
Yeah, I've actually heard about this for a while, but Jerry, I'm not sure the context in which he was interviewing Jeff, but he asked him about is the Duquesne, and he just gave no, and then wouldn't comment on past no as far as reasons. Yeah. So, but hey, Paul, we appreciate the time. I know you're in the car, you're busy, going to have your. I should assume you have your show tonight, and always appreciate your time, and let's get you on more often.
All right, buddy. Thanks for having me, and you know, we'll figure it all out. I'm sure we will. I texted my buddy Chris King, who's the Robert Morris AD, and said, all right, now it's up to you to make something happen with Duquesne and Robert Morris. So we'll see what happens.
All right, my man. We'll talk to you down the road. Let's get George's here soon.
All right, let's do it. All right, my man. We'll talk to you. Bye-bye.